Hello everyone, this is your boy Ferdinand. Welcome to my channel. If you like my content, please do consider subscribing. Destroy that like button, I would really appreciate that. Also leave any feedback or suggestions that you guys may have in the comment section below. And with that, let's jump into today's video. So today I kind of want to talk about the recent state of play that we had for the PlayStation from Sony on April 29th, and also I want to go over the reviews of the latest PlayStation exclusive Returnal, just kind of give my 2 cents on the matter. Now I am spectating, watching and reviewing this from the sidelines since I still don't have a PlayStation 5, which, gotta be honest man, that hurts really bad. But starting with the Sony State of Play from April 29, it does look like that the main focus of that State of Play was about Ratchet and Clank. I mean, the game looks beautiful. It has ray traced graphics along with seamless cinematics. It looks stunning to say the least. The gameplay looks pretty similar to what we've seen from the PS4, but the graphics and environments have obviously been buffed up. They've received a significant buff in this case. The game and its assets are significantly more detailed at this time. Everything looks very polished. Almost to, if you were to ask me, I'd say almost near perfection, which is, and it's just, you don't have to take my word for it. In this particular case, you can go check a video out from this amazing game developer, like a game engine developer. His channel, I think his YouTube channel's name is Returnal. He's done a couple of videos reacting to, different games from both Sony and Xbox, and he just kind of gives his 2 cents on the matter. And you can check his channel out. Highly recommend. It's a very, very good channel. It's a good watch. And yeah, if someone is aspiring to be a game developer, it's definitely something to take a look at and see how he develops a game engine. I think he's developing his own game engine called Hazel. But anyway, yeah, I mean, he was pretty much blown away by the game as well, and he had nothing but good things to say about the game. I mean, looking at the details of the game itself, it does look like it has open world areas, seamless transitions between one area and other, and I presume that is with the new SSD technology that the new consoles have. And obviously it's taking advantage of that, of those load times that obviously the new consoles are able to provide. I think in the State of Play, it did seem like that the gameplay was running at 30 frames per second. I could be wrong, but in all honesty, the way it was running, it kind of did look like it was 30 frames per second. I think I saw a video from Digital Foundry stating the same, that it was running at 30 frames per second, and that they're hoping that, I guess, down the road they will have maybe a 60 frames per second mode. I think it was Alex Battaglia and John Linneman, and they were both kind of hoping that if they do, like if Insomnia Games does bring out like a 60 frames per second mode, it would be with ray tracing, kind of like what they did with the Spider-Man Miles Morales, right? Initially it was only quality mode and performance mode, and then they came out with quality performance and quality ray trace mode and stuff. So I mean, that would be really nice to see that that kind of implemented over here. But other than that, yeah, the gameplay looks amazing. I think they're gonna introduce new guns. Obviously they showed a new character, Rivet, that you can play as in the game as well, which it's an interesting twist. I would like to see how the story plays out. It is a cartoony game, no doubt about it. You're not gonna come into a Ratchet and Clank game expecting like realistic graphics like you see in The Last of Us. But I mean, that's the whole point. Even with that style of animation and storytelling, it looks very good. It looks like watching a good cartoon movie as a TV show or as a movie itself. So Very impressed by Insomniac Games. The way they handle the graphics in this game, obviously. And moving on from that, so a couple of more things that we saw in the status play. We saw the traversal in the game, the new gun shop. Overall atmosphere of the game was obviously fantastic. I'm definitely excited for this particular game. Obviously, I just gotta get my hands on a PlayStation 5, which I gotta be honest, guys. Maybe some of you might have to help me, because this seems a bit of a challenge that I don't think I can easily overcome. I really don't understand, how is it that the supply demand can be so out of sync with each other, right? And there's been recent rumors that Sony is considering redesigning the PlayStation 5. Not that I personally am against redesign, but if it's a major difference from what the current console is, then personally I'd want to get the current console, because I really do like the shape of it, and I really don't have an issue with the size. My entertainment center is big enough to put a PlayStation 5 console, especially vertically, because I think that's how it looks the most nicest. And but I gotta find one, man. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with the redesign. If you guys remember, with the PlayStation 4, initially when the console launched in 2013, they had the original version, which was like glossy on one side and then matte finish on the other. The redesign, when it came, when they introduced the 1 gig version for the console, and this is before the Slim, or this is before the PS4 Slim. It had like both sides of the console were matte finish instead of one being glossy. And even though I liked it, but I did personally did prefer the glossy finish on one side. My console that I got an all white version. It's an all white matte version, so it was the second generation of the first iteration. But at the same time, like I said, I wouldn't have minded if the half of my console was gloss white and the other half was just matte white. But I digress. I like the current design a lot for the PlayStation. I know it's a little divisive, and different people have different opinions in that regard, but me personally, I like it, and I would like an opportunity to buy one myself. I mean, I check Best Buy, Walmart, GameStop, or sorry, in Canada it's EB Games, every day to see if I can see the stock. And I know that's not the best way. Everyone recommends joining these companies on Twitter, and they'll drop a message stating when the console is available, and maybe kind of getting that. But I digress. Anyway, moving on from that, I just wanted to go through the review scores for the Returnal. The Returnal is a brand new PlayStation 5 exclusive from the developers of Resogun, Housemark. And as we can see here, the Metacritic score currently as it stands with about 89 critics on for Returnal is 86. User score is 7.7. Obviously very encouraging news for a AAA game being developed for the first time from a developer like Housemark. And it does look like it is impressing a lot of people. The game is a roguelike with elements from Hades and Doom, and for me personally, I mean, those are the two games that people were mentioning. Looking at some of the gameplay that I've seen I haven't seen too much because I don't want to have spoilers, and don't worry, I'm not going to have any spoilers here as well. I'm just going through some of the details. For me, it has a huge influence coming from movies like Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise, where the aliens were pretty similar to the ones that we've seen in Returnal, the tentacle octopus looking things, and Prometheus. And if so Edge of Tomorrow and Prometheus mainly, and then just sprinkling a little bit of HR Geiger to top it off for good measure. In my opinion, honestly, it looks like a recipe for success. Quite clearly, looking at the review scores online on Metacritic and on YouTube, seeing reviews from individual YouTubers, it does look like most people love the game. Obviously, it's not a cup of tea for everyone. It's obviously a game that's a little bit challenging. I've seen people compare it to Demon Souls or Dark Souls in comparison to difficulty level. The one thing that has been said is that when you start the game, you don't get an option of whether the game, like, you can choose the difficulty, like is it going to be easy, medium, hard, or whatever. It's just one difficulty for everyone who gets the game and starts playing it. So that's very interesting. I do like that it it levels the playing field for everyone, and that kind of makes sense because the journalist people that we all love to hate obviously did struggle with the game, right? So not all of them, some of them I know of that. Some of them I remember back when Doom Eternal was released that the game was too hard. I mean, really? You know what, I digress. I'm not even gonna try and focus on something like that, but yeah, the game does look amazing. It's probably gonna be one of the games that I pick up when I do manage to get a PS5 for myself. The gameplay loop seemed simple enough. Basically, you crash land on an alien planet, and you're trying to find your way out by exploring the strange world. Every time you die, you start at your crash site, and the procedurally generated world around you changes. All the while, you try to complete its many challenges and puzzles to progress and cover its story. And that's basically how the gameplay works, right? You go through levels, you try not to die, but if you do die, you start from the beginning. You lose your weapons and stuff, but some upgrades like health upgrades or some things you keep with yourself. A very interesting take. I haven't played Hades because I know that's basically what the idea is based off of, or I think Housemarque's previous games like Resogun. I haven't played either of them. I do want to pick up a copy of Hades for myself if I can, which I probably will at some point for my PlayStation 4, and give it a try myself. And but that's basically the idea of this game, and you just go through different biomes, or I think chapters of the game, exploring and then finding your story. How did you end up there? Where the story leads you. No spoilers here, like I said. I haven't played the game, I haven't seen a walkthrough of it, so I'm trying to keep that as secretive as possible, and obviously keeping myself spoiler free if possible as well, right? So just this gameplay loop. You die, you start at the beginning, and you try and go through the different stages of this procedurally generated world. I mean, and that's the long and short of the story. It does look like the game runs at 1440p 60 FPS, which is nice. I mean, it's not native 4K. A lot of people have said that it does push the PS5 to its limits, which is an interesting concept, I'd say. I'm not entirely sure if that is all the PS5 is capable of, but I guess it depends on how how extensive the environments are, how detailed the assets are, that the game struggles to run at 4K 60 instead of 1440p 60, which is still good. I mean, anything better than 1080p is okay for me. Just because if it's not higher than 1080p, then to an extent you kind of question as to what you're doing with the new consoles. I don't know that in the beginning or of a new generation, it takes time for developers to learn the ins and outs of a new generation and fully take advantage of the hardware. But at the same time, you kind of imagine with the Zen 2 cores, the SSDs, these consoles should be a lot more capable than the anemic Jaguar core PlayStation and Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So that begs the question as to when is it that we will see games that will truly take advantage of this. No, look, don't get me wrong. I think 1440p resolution is good. I don't have a TV that's 8K or anything like that. You've seen my review of my Sony X900H. Everything on it looks fantastic and beautiful, and I think for me frame rate does matter more than the actual graphics. But at the same time, when you're trying to look at visual differences between a previous generation and a current new generation console, the resolution does play a role in it, right? You don't play a game like Last of Us the original on PS3 and then Last of Us Part 2 on PS4 and not notice the differences in graphical fidelity, right? So it's very important to kind of keep that in mind when you're approaching a new generation, and obviously setting your expectation as to what you should be able to get from the console versus what you are getting, right? So just to kind of put that out there. Also, we're not expecting like like a high-end PC quality work here, but at the same time I do think these consoles are very capable of running 4K stuff at 60 frames per second, more so I guess in not so graphically intensive games, but it'll be nice to see if there's a version that they can bring out that runs at 4K 60 for a game like Returnal at some point. I'm sincerely hoping that God of War does it 4K 60. I don't think natively. It might be more so along the terms of 1440p 60, but just to kind of maybe give an idea. But you know what? Look, listen, I'm not complaining. 1440p 60 frames per second. It's better than 30 frames per second. Anything higher than that, it's okay. Anything higher than 1080p, I am 100% okay with it. I just want good looking games that can take advantage of my TV, which obviously I've spent a considerable amount of money on. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. Honestly, the games on my PlayStation 4 look beautiful on the Sony X900H, and it's an amazing TV. I couldn't recommend it more if I tried. So just kind of putting it out there. Obviously, with the 1440p and 60 frames per second, a very big thing that comes into play is the fact that there are seamless transitions yet again, right? They're minimalistic load screens as far as I've heard within the reviews, and that's amazing. That's what you want. That's what you want to see with the game of this caliber, of a game of this quality. And I really think that it's an amazing opportunity that Sony has given to a small-time studio like Housemarque. I think it has 80 people that are employed by Housemarque, and it's still encouraging to see, with all the bad press that Sony's been getting recently, this comes as a nice surprise, right? Sony needed to do something to capture its audience, and the whole idea that Sony is moving away from indie developers and it's not giving an opportunity to smaller studios. Obviously, Housemarque does put a question mark on that particular statement. I mean, Housemarque is a smaller studio. It did develop smaller games. So seeing them getting an opportunity to make a AAA exclusive for the first time, and then it getting the review scores of 86, 87 on Metacritic, and most people loving it, is an encouraging sign for everyone, right? And to see that Sony still believes in developers. Now, I gotta be honest, I'm still sour on the whole Days Gone 2 thing. I still don't think John Garvin said anything bad. I really think the guy should be given an opportunity to make another game. But having said that, let's wait and see what Sony has in store for the Sony Bend Studios, and go from there. So anyway, guys, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Let me know what you all think, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys. Bye.